Hello everybody. I am making this video to just tell you my history of getting into the model railroading. It's not anything professional. I have no script, so I'm just talking from the top of my head. So if you like these types of videos, great. Buckle in. Let's go on this adventure. Pretty much I don't have tons of videos. I just have pictures that I took along the way. So I try to get some that help tell the story. So bear with me here. What we show here first on the screen is my space. It is 8 feet long and mainly about 30 inches wide. I can expand that to the full 4 feet. I will show that here in just a little bit. But this is the space in my office that I had available. There's really no other place in my house that I can do a train layout that will satisfy all my needs. So I don't mind it being in my office because that's where I'm at mainly during my free time. And where I sit, I get to watch my train for the vast majority of it, except for that part that goes behind my desk / monitor there. You'll see right here the monitor and then the edge of the desk. So the board goes all the way down to here. But point is I get a train, and anyone who likes running train will tell you any space that works. So let's start the adventure. I use a XPS board. The pink or the blue kind are the ones that are always recommended. Some people only have access to one or the other. This pink one has happened to be available and reasonably priced. I don't remember exactly how much. But my initial plan was to go as cheap as I could because I am running in scale. So very little weight. The heaviest things really are the engines. So, and at this time I have no buildings, nothing. I am starting from nothing. So weight is not an issue to me. So I thought I could just get this foam board, throw it on top of some stuff, and later on I might do something fancy. But that was my initial thought, and it started off really well. Working with that foam wasn't terrible. I do not have like a jigsaw, which would have been great. I just had a razor, so my cuts are not great, but gets the job done. I will tell you, while this board is big and awkward, it's not heavy, but if you kind of run into things, it's gonna make a dent. So I mean, I just put that side down, so not a big problem, but just be aware that they're just very awkward. So here it's installed. Again, this board can't weigh more than a few pounds by itself, so I just kind of use things around the house to hold it up, and it is balanced. It is level in this space. It is level. It's level enough. And then, yes, I know that's not really supported, but that was just a temporary picture. But as you can see, it wraps around the desk. I had thought about like cutting it off here, but I'll talk about that later. So there's the board. I thought I was ready to go. As you can see, it wraps around the desk. You can notice it does actually sit on the desk, so it is supported in that way, and also it is supported underneath here. It doesn't look like it, but it is. And then this was obviously where I sit. Then this monitor goes over here. But I get all this. I get all this viewing area. So great. I get to sit. I get to watch my trains, and I can do my stuff, my normal stuff, no problem. And this is what I went with to begin. I did not want a passenger train set to begin with. I'm just not interested in passenger trains right now. So I did a lot of research, did a lot of pricing, and my nearest hobby store had the best value. So mainly because a lot of this stuff was used. Again, I don't care. I'm not going for 1968 coal and timber. I am going for what I can afford and all of it that I can afford. So used and decent to hopefully better quality is what I want in my rolling stock. Kato, it is the number one brand for N-Scale for a reason. The Unitrack is the best. If you watch the YouTubers, the more professional guys, this is all they use. All they use is Unitrack. Some of them might start using some FlexTrack, but vast majority of them, this is all they use, is Unitrack. This stuff is perfect. It's already mounted. Their system, I mean, unless you try on purpose to break the edges, it can take a lot of abuse. Very easy to clean, and it's priced good. It is. It's priced good because you're going to use it forever unless you ruin it on purpose or you let someone touch your train and they break it. That's why you don't want people to touch your train. So that's what I started off with. The engine, I didn't get in this picture. I don't want, blah, blah. So there it is. That's the best you can start with. I did get some, here's the additional pieces. Nice simple loop. I got my optional piece in here that actually sits on my desk. I don't always like this piece in because it does hit my elbow, and I don't want to put stuff on top of the foam. I don't want it to scar it. I don't want it to damage it. I just don't want to do anything to the damn foam because I spent so much time getting it to where it's at. So that piece can be removed and placed as needed for layouts. So this was my very first layout, very first day running. It was great. I like the mismatch rolling stock. I like the big cars. I like the flatbeds. I like the tankers. I really do like tankers for some reason. So there you go. Unfortunately, what I discovered is that XPS foam will vibrate badly if it's not glued down to a board. I tried to mitigate it a couple different ways, but in the end, it vibrated. It annoyed the hell out of me. So I had to go get a board. I did not want to do a board because boards of this size are heavy. They are heavy. They're not like super expensive. I think this was like $35 for this 4x8, and I want to say it was 3/4 thick. So it wasn't that expensive, but it's just really heavy, and I said I have no power tools. So I had to cut this, and I used this glue. This, if anyone want to know what glue I used for the foam to the wood, this was what was highly recommended all over the place. Big ass can. It's gonna last you forever unless you just start a flood with it. So get this glue. Works really good. It stinks. It gets on you. So just be aware. So anyway, I had to glue my foam on the board, and only power tool I have is a corded drill. So what I did is in the corners I drilled big hole so that I could put my the saw I have into it, and then I sawed it. Yes, that's what I did. I did not want to buy a jigsaw. I just don't want to buy power tools because it's just more cost, and I'm trying to keep those costs down because I need so much stuff at the beginning because I'm starting from nothing. So I was trying to keep costs down. So as you can see here, it's now glued down, cut, and by now putting that foam on that board, it is a lot harder to maneuver this now. With just the foam, it was butter. It was no problem. I could do it one-handed. It was all easy. With this board, it was a struggle fighting it and putting it into this space because you have to maneuver around the desk. If it was just an open room, no problem. We all know that. But for my space, it was a pain, and then I had to support it better than I had the foam because there was so much more weight. I know I should build a proper frame, but I just don't have the funds for that right now. And that frame is kind of going to be permanent-ish, or I'm going to have to dismantle it if I'm ever going to take it out of this space. So for cost reasons and for sanity reasons, this is what I got. But it is level. It is all level. So there's no problems there. It's just more awkward. But hey, at least this piece over here is supported now, huh? Anyway. So that's it. Doesn't hum anymore, obviously, because it's not was glued down to this big old board. And eventually, I might be able to make a frame for it. Who knows? I don't even want to guess how much that would cost at this time. So here is the optional piece. Again, you can see right here how the thickness, how much taller now it became. And yes, my desk, I inherited this desk. It is not actually level itself, so you can see that's why there's a gap here. I was telling you, I was finding a lot of things out during this whole project. It was fun, I tell you. But I got it in, and there's the optional piece. Here's some cork I got because I was tired of looking at the pink, and that way I could hide cables underneath the cork. So the cork is not glued down. I know people drill holes and then go underneath, but I am nowhere near that because that mainly involves a permanent layout. I am nowhere near a permanent layout, so the cork stays on top. It can hide cables underneath this flap here. I'll show you, but I like the cork better. It's not, I don't know, it just seems obviously it's better than the pink. Track still slides over it, no problem. It just looks better. Again, I've just got some weights down on because it came in rolls, 8 feet long by 2 feet, so it actually worked pretty well for me. I could have done this area better. I'm not really sure why that worked out like that. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I think I just did it because it might have been the end of the day and I was just done. But I can always redo that with more cork board or cork. That's not a big deal. So again, here's a close up of the wood. Again, I don't have power tools, so that's why the cut's not perfect. And then the cork on top, and then you can see in the background the track. So that's how my original idea of just getting some foam and being great ended up to this big ass adventure. I mean, there's a lot more adventure. Who has gone to the home improvement store with an SUV? I did have an SUV, but I did not measure the actual opening. I really should have done that. So I had to use my backup to handle that. But at least for the board, I used the truck. But yeah, I'll go into that maybe some other time. Moving on. A lot of time. And then here, simply that optional piece being glued down with the foam and sticky. Yeah, imagine I can't find the other stupid thing grip here, so I just used some other weight. That's actually from my RC truck. Anyway, so there you go. Again, I'm an amateur. So here it is with a simple track layout, running what I had. So you can see it's 8 feet long. I mean, that's quite a length, but it's about 32 inches wide. Thank God for N scale. So I think this is 315 by 45. So I can't tell you what that radius is off the top of my head. Using SCARM, I've kind of this use the Kato's numbering system. So that's the 315 45 pieces that make that. So that's, I don't know, I think the next size up is 345. I don't know if I can fit 345 in here. I'm going to probably say no, or if it can, it's going to be like pushed up against here and pushed up against there if it can. But that's 315. That's pretty much my maximum I use. So yeah, but yeah, got it in. If I can finally run my trains, this is a 90-degree piece. I highly recommend getting 90-degree pieces. It's just so cool having that, and it makes a fantastic clacky clack sound as the train or the engine and the rolling stock go over that junction. It makes a fantastic noise, and it's really cool. I think it's really cool. So I wanted to show you this picture mainly for this right here, this 3-way extension cord. So pretty much it's just a splitter, really. It's just a splitter box, and you can use this for DC, which, you know, it's a feeder track DC, or you can actually use it for turnouts. So let's say you had 2 turnouts that you always wanted to switch together. Well, you can connect both of them to this 3-way extension box and connect it to just one switch lever, and that saves you a switch. I think that's a cool, efficient way to do it. Also, you can connect feeder tracks to this as well. That's mainly what I use it for, is connect 2 to 3 feeder tracks into this. So I only have to use one power pack for multi track layouts instead of 2 power packs. Eventually I'll probably get another power pack, but that's what the system I use for now. Turnouts are great. They're so cool to operate. Definitely recommending getting as many as easy as you can, but they are not cheap. And what I find annoying about these is, you know, on a feeder track, the cable can go out either side, right? But on layouts, or I'm sorry, on turnouts, the way the cables are installed, they only really lay flat in one direction. They're actually pointed out one direction. And if you wanted it to go out the other one, you have to bend it over itself, which wouldn't work because it's terrible. Or you got to make it go around and go underneath it. I don't understand why. And it's a permanent wire too. It's not like a feeder track where you can unplug it. It is a permanent cable in there. So I don't understand why they did that. I don't understand why they did that. That's my only gripe about Unitrack, is the cable for the turnouts. But moving on. I wanted to show you this in conjunction with that last picture. Is I did this layout with my turnouts, very first one. Loved it because I was able to use turnouts. But I realized these cables, they're only like 35 inches long. That's really not very long. So definitely go back to this, or just in general, buy the extension cables. They're only 35 inches long, but they double the length. So what I've learned is that instead of having to put the power box in the middle, out of reach unless I stand up and lean over, I can use that 3-way and extension, and then just have these 2 cables go all the way over here, so that they are over here. Again, look at here. This is what I was talking about the turnouts, where the cable can only really go one direction cleanly. So, and here I had to go down and around. Here, that's the direction it actually faces, so it comes right out. Again, I don't understand why they did it that way. But definitely get DC extension cables, turnout extension cables. Just get them. You might not need them right now, but just get them. Because one day you'll do a layout and be like, dang, I need an extra foot of cabling. And they'll take care of it for you. Here's just a simple picture of some rolling stock I got used. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, these things are beautiful. They're mint. I don't care if the turnbuckles are a little different, as long as they work. I don't care. Showing you this, the Viaduct set. It is, I think, the most expensive variation set. Maybe. It's really cool though. The crossover, it's I think it's pretty unique, very cool. It's definitely better to buy the variation set where you get this extra stuff for a few dollars. I think it's a better deal to get the V7 versus trying to just buy the crossover and the switch by itself. Unless you can find a hell of a deal for this, like maybe at a train show or used through a third party. So, and again, of course, the 90 degree. I'm always recommending getting more 90 degrees. They're just fun. So that is the end of the pictures I really have. I'm not going to show you like all my. I don't have a lot of rolling stock. I was really fortunate to get a 8-car set of the Kato coal. I got that for half retail, so that was really awesome. But I'm pretty much in the phase where I got pretty much all the track I need except for some more turnouts. I would love to have more turnouts, but I'm sure we all would. And then now my focus is really trying to add a second engine, get more rolling stock, and then add a passenger train. There's a lot of cool Amtrak ones with their passenger cars. So I really like to have one of those, and then get some more engines and just more rolling stock. So pretty much this layout is phase 1. I do plan on actually wrapping the board around the back behind my desk. You saw where it stuck out. Have that go actually all the way behind my desk and come out to where my TV is at on the table. And I would buy a mounting mounting device to where the TV will then float over the desk, so that whole space can then be used for a layout. And my goal is one side will be like the train yard, have a bunch of lanes and hopefully a ton of rolling stock that I can park stuff and kind of do. I'll say I'm not huge in operations. See, to me, I like to watch the train go. I will show you here. Let me show you my layouts. Oh, give me 1 second. I wasn't ready. Should have had them ready for you guys. I do apologize. But here's my layouts. I don't take credit for any of these. I have looked all over the internet. I see an idea, I see a layout, and I take it and I adapt it to fit my space. So I take no credit for original ideas on any of this stuff, because I'm sure it's been done before. Okay, maybe the toilet seat. Maybe I'll take credit for the toilet seat. Maybe I'll take that one. I'll take credit for that one. But the rest of the stuff, I'm sure I got an idea from somewhere else, and I just expanded it or modified it in SCARM to fit my area. So these are my layouts. If you actually want any of these in SCARM, let me know. I'll put it on what do you even have these days for free hosting sites? I don't even know anymore. But I'll put it on a free hosting site so you can grab it. So you can give you a working idea of start. And again, it'll be all in SCARM. These are just the PDFs. They're just easier to show or to just review instead of opening up SCARM. Actually, printing the PDF inside SCARM is actually pretty helpful, because you can move over stuff from like Excel and put it in the PDF. Pretty cool. But anyway, these are the layouts I've come up with. I got some others in various stages, but I think this is enough to start. Some that have the turnout, some who don't, some are just continuous. But yeah, I like watching the trains just go. I just don't need operations, because what I feel like the next step would be is, again, since I am more on the cheap side, I would, if it's cost efficient, to go to the train shows. And you guys with more experience can tell me if I'm wrong. Go to train shows, and if they got, a bunch of cheap rolling stock that has, plastic wheels, they may be a little dinged up, no original box. Well, if you give me a deal and get me like 10 of those for like $5, I feel like it'd be fun to upgrade the trucks and the wheels, and maybe the couplers if need be. I think that's my next evolution to the hobby. I don't see myself spending a lot of money on buildings, because if you look at my layouts, I'm more into layouts than I am thinking up a theme of, coal, and then a timber mill, and then a warehouse. Those people, I love watching their videos. I like listening to their ideas, but that's not how I want to spend it, because my layouts, I just don't have that space, I just like to sit in my chair and watch my trains. Or that's actually my train. I don't have a second engine yet, but I'm working on it. So that's mine. I think that's what my next step is to put new life in the old rolling stock that otherwise would be garbage. End up in the landfill. As long as it's cost efficient, I can't lose money on it. I can't spend more money on old stuff if I just buy a new one. So if I'm wrong, this is a terrible idea, let me know. If I'm in the dream world, or if it actually would work, because as far as I know, and again, I recently knew, it doesn't require advanced tools. So, and I don't lose anything. If the seller doesn't want to make a deal, then I'm not out anything. I just go to the next seller, and eventually you find someone who doesn't mind losing a bunch of semi junk for a few bucks. I don't know. That's just how I feel. So, but then eventually expanding my layout to go onto that TV table, and go from there. Eventually down the line, I do want to go DCC. Obviously I'm right next to all my computers, laptops, so running the DCC software, not a problem. None of that stuff's a problem. It's just the initial costs, and I think a little bit of maybe working on the turnouts and stuff to work with DCC. But that's down the line, because I know it's like a couple $100 maybe for the controller, or whatever. But that's down the line, because I got to have multiple engines before I need a DCC system. To me, I don't need to have the sound, all that stuff. So running just one engine on DCC, I think it'd be better spent for me to spend my money on acquiring more inventory before I make that advanced switch. So I think I've rambled on enough here. If you've made it down to the end of the video, Yeah, fantastic. Any questions, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.